Much ado has been made this week about the Houston Rockets choosing to fully embrace small ball, with a ton of people calling it unprecedented and unlike anything we've seen in NBA history. But is it really all that different than the Golden State Warriors' death lineup or the way 90% of the NBA is actually playing today anyway? Let's take a look. Scout with Bryan. Let's see why the Rockets small ball just might work after all. First of all, the biggest impact it's going to have completely opening up the floor. The spacing is going to be total 5 out basically every single possession, and it's going to create the same way Houston's going to have some matchups that might be a little tough for them defensively. Anthony Davis had to guard Russell Westbrook for a ton of the game. That's not an easy matchup for him, especially with no help. And when help comes in, like is a tendency for Kyle Kuzma to come in here, that's when you find shooters like Robert Covington spaced around the perimeter. Again, with the floor totally spaced, look how much room Russ has to operate. This is going to look a lot like Giannis and the Bucks spacing. When Giannis has the ball up and top, you always have the corners filled, you always have the slots filled, and Giannis goes to work. Russ, in a sense, like Harden, is Houston's Giannis. Yes, he's not the Greek freak, he's not that same size, but he's an athletic freak. He's unbelievably quick. His first step's unreal, and his dribble moves almost always allow him to get to the basket and get by his defender. He's playing at an absurdly high level. And again, you see Anthony Davis on an island against him. JaVale McGee, when he's worried about guarding PJ Tucker or any shooters all around the outside, it was really hard to come over and to have any rim protection, which opened things up completely for Russ to stay in attack mode. Again, you see with AD on him here, all it takes is a simple right to left crossover and Russ is past him. Look at him use the rim to shield him against the shot blocker. And again, JaVale, normally a shot blocker, he's out in the corner having to guard PJ Tucker. This is a nightmare matchup for a lot of teams defensively. And if you look at Houston's offensive ratings throughout the season, their offense has always been phenomenal with PJ Tucker in the game at the 5 spot. That's always been his better position anyway. And you see, when James Harden is in the backcourt and attracts so much attention that guys usually basically stick with him in the backcourt, again, look at the space. Russ basically has to play 4-on-4 with the total floor spread, even though Brad Stevens was yelling out right here, load up, get your hands out, basically is what that means. Russ is still able to draw help. And how many times, for example, did we see Giannis make that pass to Chris Middleton? Daniel House doing a nice job making shots this season. Houston just needs, again, guys to make their threes. And when they don't have threes, when help doesn't come in, again, the floor is totally spread. There is never any big down here. Think of it like, again, Brook Lopez for Milwaukee. When you stretch the defense out and you have all that space to operate, really, really hard to keep guys out of the paint one-on-one. In a way, it's like the dribble drive offense on steroids. You see here, Covington and Harden lagging behind in the backcourt. Look at this. Just lets you play basically 3-on-3. 3-on-3 with a totally spaced NBA floor. You think with the hand-checking rules, any NBA defender can keep an elite one-on-one player in front of them? They really can't. Look at Russ again. So quick, so easy for him to get by to the rim. And when he's off the ball, when he's at the top here, yes, they're not going to respect his shot terribly when Harden has the ball, but what he can do is put the ball down and drive it again. You see from that top spot, Tucker drawing the 5-man out, floor totally spaced, no rim protection. Russ gets to the rim for an N1. You see it again and again. PJ Tucker trailing the floor from that 5 spot. Daniel Tice doesn't really know what to do. He's used to guarding somebody down here in the paint so he can come over, be a shot blocker. But he knows if he comes over here, PJ Tucker's got wide open threes. So yet again, these driving gaps, this is what Houston's doing. They're totally opening up the floor for Russ, for Harden, to make these crossover dribbles, get into gaps, penetrate, and get all the way to the rim. The impact of having one extra player spacing the floor. It's literally 20% of your offense, a fifth of the team. You look at it again here now for Harden. PJ Tucker trailing in the backcourt. That takes JaVale out here, leaves Harden totally on an island to go past Danny Green and get to the rim. You see Harden with the crossover dribble right here against Avery Bradley. And again, look at the spacing with PJ Tucker in the corner. Can't help off him there. Shooter's totally spaced. Even if you pull in a little bit off Westbrook, doesn't matter. James comes over here to help. And Houston, the best extra pass team in the league, good to great, finding Eric Gordon a huge scoring punch off the bench. How many times have we seen this season for James Harden? Again, look how much space he has on the right wing on an ISO. Everybody outside the paint for the Celtics. Nobody even has a foot in the paint. totally floodgates open for James Harden. Left hand blow by, get to an explosive dunk. You see, when he has a space floor, he is so dangerous. And yes, Houston will still do a little bit of the matchup hunting and force guys to come over and double team, try to get the ball out of his hands. But look at James here, orchestrating the offense. Get Covington out of there. That's going to leave Gordon Hayward one-on-one against Harden up top. And yes, maybe this is the one aspect people don't love about his game, but any guy that's not quick enough to get up and really get into James Harden's grill, he's going to his step back against, and he's absolutely deadly with that shot. If you took away the sky hook or you took away MJ's post fadeaway, why would they stop doing that if they could score on it just about every time? Every time Harden, again, has a cushion, has a slower defender on him like Grant Williams here, he's going to that move, and most of the time he's making that shot. It's a hugely valuable shot for him and for their offense. And when they want to run pick and roll, they can still do it, even if it's not Clint Capela setting the screen and rolling hard. Look at P.J. Tucker set the screen, bring the five-man into the pick and roll. Tice here. Harden still goes past him. And so if we have two guys pursuing the ball, what's wide open too? It's P.J. Tucker popping. Same principle of pick and roll, just with a pop instead of the roll. Here we see Covington set it again, putting Tice in the pick and roll. Now look how far Tice has to potentially recover to Covington. It's impossible for him to recover that far. That puts Boston in a full rotate, scramble mode. Guys flying around. Russell Westbrook able now to get to the rim. When they do occasionally play out of the post-up, it's an inverted post-up. It's Russ in the post, where he's playing really, really well. He's probably their best post player. And again, when he draws help, like he does here, Dwight Howard, as a five-man, his instinct is to come in, try to protect the basket. That's when P.J. Tucker in the corners is so valuable, able to hit that corner three at a really high level. You see again, when teams get the ball out of his hands, that's when it just becomes essential for Houston to have somebody in this pocket. And you know what? Capela was not the best passer out of this pocket. So now if you put a small in there with kind of better instincts to make the next pass, like Daniel House here, look at him find P.J. Tucker, again, perfectly in the corner. That's his shot. Daniel House, how about finding Covington? Covington, people forget, he was part of the Philly process teams when they were taking 10 million threes a game, just like this Rockets team. He is a big-time shooter. The Trevor Ariza type fit in this offense, I can absolutely see that. He is a high level, especially from the corners, but a really high-level three-point shooter. And then the impact the spacing has on everybody else. You don't think Austin Rivers is salivating, getting to have a completely spaced paint for him to attack and get to his strong right hand? These driving lanes are going to be open for him. They're going to be open for Gordon. Pretty much anybody that can attack off the dribble. Look at this. This was an after timeout play from Mike D'Antoni. They don't need something super elaborate. Yes, they're not going to run the most complicated playbook in the world. There's not going to be a tremendous amount of motion, but it will be smart. This setup was designed to have Harden on an ISO, and they knew Boston was coming over with two defenders. So they put Covington right here. They had Austin Rivers come and screen his man, and Covington go by him. That made Gordon Hayward have to come over off the corner to stop the ball, getting Daniel House a wide open three. Simple, easy basketball, but it's efficient basketball. Produces a ton of layups and a ton of wide open threes. Again, you see it here. If you bring two to Harden, he's not afraid to make the extra pass. And P.J. Tucker, like Capela, he's good at setting these kind of pinch flare screens. Actually, probably arguably better. So if he's down on the baseline, if the corner's occupied and he can't be the shooter there, he does a great job setting the screen, screening it off for Daniel House to get the shot. And then what Covington really brings to the team, elite level defense. People forget this guy was an all-NBA defender. He is one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league. He can guard 1 through 4 very easily, occasionally guard the 5. And there's not many guys that do a better job just containing one-on-one penetration. The Jaylen Browns, the Brandon Ingrams, Jason Tatums, the way iso ball is played today, Kemba Walkers. You need those type of guys who can contain dribble penetration. And even if they get beat like Covington does here, look at this recovery. He is a high-level shot blocker, especially for a wing. One of the best in the game with recovery speed to impact a ton of shots that way as well. And then Houston can go back to their scheme, which they love to do, which worked pretty well against Golden State in the playoffs, as they were the closest team to being able to knock them off in the playoffs. And PJ Tucker, one of the best, staying down low and trying to guard point guards. And when he doesn't, look at Covington come over here when he's guarding the 5-man. Look at this left-handed block. Get back up. Go pursue the rebound. That's going to be obviously a huge key for Houston, coming up with those loose balls, coming up with those rebounds. Lakers tried to run this after timeout play to get Anthony Davis a post-up. Look at P.J. Tucker, meet him with the hard bump. They're going to find a way to still throw it to AD in the post. Now it's about resistance. Look at P.J. Tucker again. Mike D'Antoni called him like a linebacker. He does a great job getting really low, resisting with an arm bar, being really hard to move, and then look at Covington again. Blocks the shot with his left hand off LeBron up at the top. He's got really, really high-level instincts for the ball. You try to isolate Covington again, he's going to give you a lot of problems. You bring a ball screen, that's when they have the flexibility to switch just about everything. And they do a great job again. You see P.J. Tucker here, knowing they're switching, knowing he's looking for Tice on the roll. Tucker does a great job getting his high hands up, getting the steal. Again, now they have total flexibility. Capela was probably the weakest defender at switching and made it hard for them to do this at times. This is what they want to do. They want to be able to have P.J. Tucker guarding your wings, forcing Gordon Hayward into tough contested long twos, getting gang rebounds with Harden trying his best against Cantor, McLemore coming over to help, Covington going to get the ball. 3 guys in pursuit of the rebound. They do a good job doing that as a team. Again, you want to play pick and roll. They're going to switch it. They're going to get high hands. They're going to make the pass to the big tough. And who really wants to post up Daniel Tice anyway? Not Boston. They want to play ISO, and then that's when P.J. Tucker does a pretty good job, as well as any 5-man in the league, at containing the ball in front of him. James Harden doing a good job helping there. Forces a turnover. Again, you see the switch. Covington now is able to guard the post up. Tucker is able to do a great job contesting a tough Kemba fadeaway. Now, on the post resistance again, look at Tucker here. Not the easiest matchup in the world for him, but he's been playing the 5 defensively for a long time too. He's able to bang at this spot. He's able to resist in the post. It's about as well as you can resist Anthony Davis and force a kick out to Avery Bradley. And then you see Covington down here getting a good block out on LeBron. P.J. Tucker coming back to the ball for the rebound. When Covington has to guard AD or guard bigger guys in the post, sometimes he'll try to be in the front. But you know what else you can do as a solution? The Rockets are not afraid to come and trap. Get the ball out of his hands. Post up totally nullified already. Now it becomes back to good team defense. Look at House in a stance helping stop the drive. Look at Harden have the discipline not to leave the strong corner. Look at Covington to have the discipline not to come over and go for this block, leave the offensive glass for Anthony Davis. Instead, he stays with a great block out, goes and gets the ball. Again, if you want to break your offense, end up posting it, Cantor 30 times a game, Houston will gladly live with that. Tucker's going to resist him as best he can. And usually he ends up forcing guys into pretty tough shots. Reminder, tonight, 10:30 Eastern, I'm calling the Rockets-Warriors game. If you want to see my broadcast, watch the game, but have me broadcast it instead. Just download the Hot Mic app, promo code SCOUT. You'll hear me call the game tonight. Rockets-Warriors on TNT. Sync it up live with your TV. Again, Hot Mic app, promo code SCOUT. On Google Play and the App Store. Thanks for watching. Make sure you thumb up, hit that subscribe button. Follow Scout with Bryan, Twitter, Instagram, the Scout with Bryan podcast. Appreciate you watching.